Hello peeps, and I am back with another video, as I said. Now, I'm recording these relatively late, so if I sound a bit tired or don't react very much, that's probably it. But I've been hearing about this new game. Well, it's not really new. It's I think like a few months old by now, but regardless, it's new for me because I didn't really hear about it until now. And really all I knew about it is that it involves this alien planet, pretty much, and this whale on this alien planet. That's really all the info I got from the thumbnails and the titles of these videos that I've been seeing. Now, I decided not to watch any of them in order not to be spoiled on anything as much as possible, so I'm basically going into this as blind as possible. So, here we go. H to hide text, left click or spacebar to advance when you see this icon. Pretty basic. Alright. It's a work of fiction. Alright, I would suspect people would know it's work of fiction. But it doesn't hurt to get that little warning. Alright. The Corporation for Earth Media.
The Corporation for Earth Media is proud to present this educational program.
Just go to read it out to me.
Produced in conjunction with the frontier scientists, engineers, and artists of the Chronos 7 expedition.
Alright.
South Scrimshaw is made possible through the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Okay, Chapter 1, Birth. It's a lot of red.
Hot sunlight shines through the veined membrane of an aquatic egg. It was once carried in deeper, cooler waters of a more northern latitude. Now it bobs freely in a subtropical shallow. The consciousness dawning inside is prodded alert in discomfort.
Look at its eyes. Oh.
It is a male whale calf, stirring with a
I was
newfound
about to say
awareness
it's a
of
baby
body.
whale.
This pod has held him for 17 months, nurtured his development from a single fertilized cell. Now it can no longer support his life. The inflow of nutrients and oxygenated blood has ceased. A once comfortable cradle now pinches at his enlarged form. Pushed onto his own faculty, a suffocating urge to thrash wells up inside him. Yet he hesitates.
Why are you hesitating?
A song booms from the world outside.
Okay, if I heard that noise, I would probably hesitate as well. That does not sound anything good.
The powerful low frequency vibrates through his whole body. With the certainty of deep imprinting, the calf knows who is calling.
Is it his mother?
It is his mother.
Yeah, I was figuring that.
She is on the other side. He must join her.
Yeah, go join her.
The shell containing him is now only a brittle husk, swollen with waste material and straining at the seams. Clumsy first movements form the start of the calf's motor awareness. The egg is evolved to rupture open along a central seam. A few thin cartilage bands are all that retain him. One more forceful effort and he will escape.
Feels like I'm watching a movie more than playing a game.
Technically speaking, the whale didn't hatch from an egg. Egg is something of a known egg-laying mammals. None of them are whales.
Okay, there's this little
There are
thing.
4 extant species of egg-laying mammal. They are the platypus,
Yeah, platypus.
the echidna, the snorb, and the ribbon snore.
The ribbons? No. That is a very strange looking thing. We went from platypus to this thing. Alright.
This whale species has a placental connection to the mother while developing. Birthing shell is the term currently favored in scientific journals when discussing this style of external womb.
Alright, birthing shell. Definitely a very odd name.
The outer cartilage folds backwards, shrinking the space inside and expelling the contents outwards, creating pressure against the inner membrane until it finally pops.
Alright, this little
The
guy's
calf
been
spills out
born.
into the open ocean.
Look at him. It's adorable.
The world is a rush of sensory stimulation. The newborn is momentarily stunned limp.
But you know, that's actually something that would happen to horses
He comes to
when they're first
dizzying
born.
flurry of life. Plants and protists tangle and snag his every movement.
Well, anyway, like I was saying, basically, some horses would be born just completely stunned. A lot of other animals are like that too, but I've mostly seen horses where they'd just be stunned, and then they have to, you know, they had to get life going through them again.
Small scavengers eagerly devour the cloud of waste. Plants unfurl and retract in almost animalistic locomotion. Foliage clings to the calf from above. He swims deeper to escape. His mother's song reassures him once again, but she is still nowhere in sight. Sponges, wolf biters, crustaceans and corals dangle from the plants like ornaments. Something solid grabs from below. His descent is halted. He is being lifted back towards the surface. The calf breaches, filling his lungs with their first breath of air.
Give me one moment. I need to get myself a drink.
This is the breeding ground of his species. At the year's peak, this wide expanse fills with whales.
Alright. Well, that doesn't look like there's very much whales around.
But today our calf finds the surface empty.
That's what I was just saying. It looks pretty empty.
Except for a very odd clump of plants. The calf does not know what to make of it.
I don't know what to make of it either.
Equally disturbed and compelled, he stares transfixed.
It's like a rock floating on the ocean. You know, it just have a lot of moss on it.
Plants continue to tickle his body just below the water. A resident waterbug examines him with equal skepticism. Sudden movement atop the leafy mass catches his eye.
Oh, it's a bird. Slightly spooky bird.
It's all too frightening for the little one. He retreats back under the surface. His overpowering instinct is to nurse, but he cannot. His exhaustion mounts and fear seizes him. He is lost. And as if sensing his weakness, tendrils begin to grasp at him.
Oh, don't tell me he's
A
gonna
vine
die
lassos his
right off the
foot. There is
bat.
no escape.
This guy's so cute.
In a final burst of strength, the calf fights, thrashing, tearing, and uprooting his attackers. A scent of blood enters the water. His mother cries a pain song to soothe him. The calf is hit with the sudden realization.
It looks like it. Like, look at that face.
The strange plants are not taking him away from his mother. The strange plant clod is his mother.
That is weird looking. Why is she like a big clump of, well, mossy plants? The Brillo whale. Now, I'm not gonna try pronouncing that second one because I feel like I'd make a fool of myself. Oh, okay, we're off to chapter 2, I guess. Anatomy.
What evidence remained of this year's Brillo breeding season has long since been swept away. This sandbar has returned to its normal, pristine state. Save for one unusual pile of rocks.
Alright, we're doing the scanning. Oh, it's
This
a little
is a
eel.
stone dog.
Never mind, a stone dog, not an eel. Let me correct myself.
Somewhat like a hermit crab, this animal lives in a portable shelter of foreign material. It grasps together a shell of scavenged of debris with its long limbs and secretes an adhesive mucus to hold it fast. Stone dogs mostly rely on ambushing prey from a camouflaged position. Right now, this stone dog here is not the hunter, but the hunted. It is a woefully obvious attempt to hide, as the predator stalking it possesses one of the sharpest minds in the ocean. A quick check if the coast is clear. It isn't.
It is not clear.
Our whale calf wants to play, not eat. But from the stone dog's perspective, there's little difference.
Yeah, look how terrified this guy is.
Since hatching, our calf has been a healthy and energetic specimen.
And very destructive, apparently.
Despite his late birth, no complications are detectable. If anything, his cognitive ability is showing swift advancement. He's very fond of holding his fluke above the water surface. Scattered showers are currently moving through the area. The calf has been emerging frequently for visual inspection since the rain began. He seems very interested in the weather above.
It's kind of cute.
A long call reminds him not to stray too far. Brillos have surprisingly keen vision above the water. The calf is quickly able to spot his mother.
I mean, when you're a big lump of green moss, I can imagine anyone can see that.
This is the farthest distance he has traveled from her. It is more than twice that of yesterday. Today was quite an adventure. Now, reminded of his mother, all this bravery seems to evaporate. He is suddenly anxious to be at her side. It will bring her any interesting objects discovered while exploring.
Oh. Oh my gosh, that poor
And
stone
mooted at
dog.
her face. His mother is trying to rest off another bout of nausea. This play is a bit much.
Yeah, I don't think she's very amused. Oh.
But these discomforts are trivial to the bond between mother and child. Our neural interface even shows a measurable relief in her symptoms during these interactions.
This is adorable.
The calf's carefree play is training for future hunts and the essential skills of survival. But it will be some time before he has to worry about earning meals on his own. His mother's long, prehensile udders reach him through the thorny bramble. The milky nurse is on as thick as yogurt.
How? Because all I see is lots of plants. I'm not gonna question it.
calves subsist on this fat-rich diet for 2 years, building up an insulating layer of blubber, and the bands of spongy tissue for other organisms to burrow into. Here we arrive at what truly makes a Brillo whale such a remarkable specimen for study. Symbiosis of unrivaled complexity and variety. This female was initially selected for study due to her exquisitely beautiful exterior. The mammal is almost totally concealed within the undulating botanical mass.
Sure, you can call that beautiful.
In cross-section, the distinction between whale and passenger is more visible.
Alright, oh. Yeah, I don't like the looks of that.
Unlike the stone dog shown earlier, this is not simply an external attachment to foreign material. The Brillo whale has an intimate connection to thousands of other living creatures.
Huh.
The whale chooses from among a variety of partner species. And offers real estate within designated regions of its body.
I've been trying to keep my eye down here to make sure I don't miss any white parts, but I probably did at some point, and if I did, I apologize.
Cohabitation space and the whale's vitals. This unusual arrangement raises several questions, the first of which we will address.
Yes, I have lots of questions about why the heck she is like this thing. I don't know how to describe it. It just looks
What
so
is the
weird.
benefit of living on a whale?
I mean, there's a lot of benefits.
To help us illustrate the principle, we will be assisted by a sea bunny, or sea bun, to use its more common nickname.
Oh wait, there's one.
The South Scrimshaw team has received very explicit direction from our producers, and we are to unequivocally clarify to viewers that the sea bun is not a real animal.
No.
The sea bun owes its creation to the original landing party of Kronos 5. Though the specifics are lost, the most convincing story is that it was something misheard over a shoddy radio connection. As those early years recede into contemporary legend, it is important to remember that the tales of hardship told by the first landing party are not exaggerated. The pioneers were indeed isolated for 11 solar cycles, and it was not until the conclusion of the hostilities on Earth that the current biannual delivery schedule could be planned. The uncharted planet was a land of mysterious fauna and unknown environmental hazards. It was a time where technology seemed to suffer
What are these
inexplicable
doodles?
malfunctions, while repair efforts were always undermined by a constant lack of materials, tools, and manpower.
The fish one looks probably the most silliest one. And this one in the middle is probably more interesting looking, while the other two they just look very cartoony.
The myth of the sea bun serves as caricature for the force of chaos, always at work when one's back is turned.
Oh great, now I
Sea
got more.
bunnies was a sort of shorthand for, I don't know what's wrong, it could be anything, including a cryptid. Among our seniors who were present at the time, one likened the expression to "here be dragons" on medieval maps. Another drew a parallel with Murphy's Law. Somewhere along the line, either as intentional jokes or honest misunderstanding of colourful communiques, word of sea bunnies repeatedly escaped the planet in a way interpreted as fact by those off-world.
So are these things real or not? Or,
Compounding
I mean, like in this world, are
misinformation
they real or
was a
not?
popular
Because
hazing
they're
ritual
making it sound
where
like
new
it's some kind
arrivals
of
were
myth.
assigned to catch a sea
Well, they're
bun
also
for
trying to make it
research,
sound like it's a
usually
legit
being
thing.
given a butterfly net and sent somewhere isolated and moderately dangerous. A unique culture planetside encouraged the escalation of this practice, until a few near disasters brought a legislated end to the budding tradition.
I'm not going to read this entire letters. You guys can pause it and read it yourselves if you like to, but I'm not going to read all of this because I'm hoping to get this video done as soon as possible.
Regular infrastructure improvements have also blunted the disgruntled sarcasm towards occasional hardship. In recent years, the Sea Bunny is most defined by Will Voynich's cartoons.
Oh great, now there's another one right here.
Kids Wilderness is a monthly publication created and edited by Will Voynich, written and illustrated by Voynich and various contributors. Using friendly illustrations, it focuses on natural science, camping, and health and wellness. It joins the official Sunday newspaper as one of the planet's only 2 print publications. Voynich was originally a cartographer and among those first to land with Kronos 5. Children's literature only became a guiding passion after he discovered himself a soon-to-be father, and realised how very little would be available for the new generation by way of age-appropriate entertainment and education. On off hours at the Cartographic Survey Computer Lab, using optical scanners and image editing software designed for map-making, Voynich painstakingly constructed his first works. 5 volumes containing every fable he could remember from his own childhood.
What is that supposed to be right there? Looks like he's trying to jump up and eat those berries.
While he faithfully retells many of these timeless classics, Voynich's recall is often hazy. Several of the stories are so misremembered, they are more original work than adaptations. For example, The Elephant and the Mouse retains nothing from the Aesop tale besides the titular animals. Voynich's version has the two discussing the different sorts of dreams they have while sleeping. Voynich's first intentional works of fiction would be penned for Kids Wilderness. The Adventures of Seabun and Monaco.
I would probably watch that if that was a show. That sounds like an interesting show.
The accessible charm of Seabun and Monaco found an immediate and enthusiastic audience. Currently playing are musical arrangements from the puppet show adaptation, which has been touring schoolhouses. The songs were composed and performed by Nico Kuprin. The formula of each adventure largely follows the same beats. Seabun, an ocean sprite with impish curiosity and an endless appetite for inedible material, happens upon some unknown piece of infrastructure and decides to devour it.
Oh dear.
Meanwhile, Monaco, a nervous eel sidekick who always follows Seabun, watches on in comically exaggerated terror while imagining the most nightmarish possible outcomes.
Oh dear.
These predictions of doom never come to pass.
I feel like it would happen one day
But
though.
Seabun's actions do cause significant damage, forcing construction crews to deploy for repairs. Seabun, now realising his error, uses his supernatural strength to help workers in various ways, and atones for his destructive acts. Everything is then rebuilt stronger than before. The story formula seeks to inform young readers about vital infrastructure, where it is found, what happens if it breaks, and the sort of specialised work that maintenance requires. It also seeks to make the harsh edges of a frontier life less frightening and unknown to young readers. Each story ends with the sleepy Seabun returning to his burrow with a souvenir where he slumbers peacefully. That is, until he gets hungry again.
Oh no. Oh, got an achievement, Deepest Lore.
Given how entrenched the character has become in the popular consciousness here, we feel it appropriate that the Seabun help guide our exploration of these oceans.
Alright.
While each species has its own unique
But back to the
adaptation to
actual
this niche
story.
lifestyle, we can create several broad categories of benefits such evolution aims to harness. Moving through water takes energy. It is far easier to travel great distance when someone else is doing the swimming. Simply hitching a ride can be greatly beneficial. For example, one One species of crab only lives on Brillo whales every other generation and uses whale transportation to greatly expand its range.
I mean, that's smart.
Unless one is the apex predator, the threat of being eaten is an ever-present reality. If one lives as a potential meal, it is very important to be the least desirable, most difficult of meals. Finding alliance with a giant beast and living under its protection creates a very effective deterrence.
I mean, that's
It's always
also
still
another
possible to be
really
eaten,
good benefit.
but hunters now risk facing off with a leviathan. Some partnerships are more proactive. Certain shark, skates, rays and scarps have formed hunting partnership with the Brillos. They help find and catch quarry, then share in the feast. Pack hunting allows the Brillo to take down larger and different sorts of prey. The blood or waste of Brillo whales can also provide a source of nourishment. This not offered freely. Obviously, a Brillo whale cannot stand to be eaten alive.
I don't think anyone can stand being eaten alive. I mean, we already basically be eaten alive by mosquitoes almost every single day. So,
An
it's
Earth
definitely
parallel
not
is an oxpecker
desirable.
bird on a rhinoceros. The bird may drink a marginal amount of blood while it cleans off ticks. It's a fair trade for the rhinoceros, as the tick is the far greater threat. So too, will a Brillo whale expend blood in a beneficial relationship. In several instances, living on a Brillo has evolved into part of an organism's life cycle, and the specific conditions regulated in a Brillo's body are required for a new generation. In some cases, this goes even further.
What the heck?
With the biology of the two species becoming so enmeshed, it is unclear where one ends and the other begins.
Okay, that's kind of disturbing. Oh,
But these
yeah.
instances are rare. Our research team is very interested if these extreme cases represent a functioning system, or the pathological eventuality to such complicated arrangements. All of these riders taking in small amounts adds up to a great expense for the host. This prompts the obvious next question. What does the whale stand to benefit from this arrangement? This is more complicated to respond to. There seems to be as many answers as there are Brillo whales, as there is a spectacular variety among Brillos. For now, let us approach the answer with specific examples from this mother. The most
I guess
prominent feature along her
disguise,
body
maybe?
is the wide variety
That's
of
just my guess.
photosynthesizing
Probably
organisms.
just for disguises.
The whale is, of course, not an autotroph producing her own energy from sunlight. But the specialized seaflora pays rent by sharing some of their sugars into her blood. When light is low, roots ferment and alcohol is also created as a byproduct. Certain plants near her head also act as fishing lures, drawing food to her maw. While she may occasionally swim deeper, a partially plant-subsidized life has locked her within the photic zone, the upper aquatic layer where enough sunlight can sustain the leaves. Adult Brillo behavior and biology is often dramatically influenced by their symbiotic arrangement. Here we see a blood trilobite.
Oh dear, it's a parasite, I'm guessing.
This is not an invited guest.
Yep, a parasite.
A long needle-like proboscis pushes down and taps a vein. Drinking in great volume and offering nothing in return, it is a true parasite. This is a job for the vellum worm. Vellum worms fill their stomachs by grooming Brillos of unwanted visitors.
I don't like how they said that.
It is currently hypothesized that vellum worms distinguish the welcome
Yeah, I
from
mean,
the
that's what
attackers
it's
through
kinda
smell
doing.
and taste. Parasites have all been found to have elevated amounts of a bile-like Brillo waste inside them. This mother Brillo also has to worry about creatures browsing her lovely plants. Herbivorous fish attempt frequent raids on the leafy goods. This one is alone and quite oblivious. The vellum worm packs a powerful punch for larger animals. A neurotoxin-filled barb is shot into the fish's heart. It can only manage a faint muscle spasm before the venom completes its work.
Note to self, keep away from these things. Gotcha.
The Brillo whale strategy is called a symbiotic garden. It is an intentionally cultivated arrangement and a precarious balance of mutual relations. self-reliance. When successfully maintained, the host becomes a morass of life. It is usually defended from attack. It can sometimes acquire energy in novel ways, and occasionally it is able to invade new niche ecosystems. The universal downside experienced by all Brillos is that more complexity creates more points for failure. An adult Brillo's life is dominated by the struggle to groom a semblance of order into increasingly overgrown flanks. To a simple calf, these adult problems have yet to enter his mind. Today he has found his mother's leaves serve as fun streamers to play with.
I like how there's almost looks like there's little freckles on his face. That makes it look so much more cuter.
She finally scolds him. She is too unwell to tolerate any more roughhousing. He doesn't quite understand, but he has other diversions. Primarily drinking more of her milk. Given the complexity of Brillo anatomy, even small health problems can swiftly spiral out of control. This female experienced complications while giving birth. There is the potential for the situation to worsen. A thorned branch has become ingrown, puncturing through both the layer of protective outer muscle and the cuticle barrier.
Ouch! So there's literally like a
This had begun
branch
prior to
growing
calving,
inside of
but her
her?
contractions to extend the womb also caused the plant shard to stab deeper. The spikes are now in contact with her intestines. Fortunately, there is no puncture yet.
I mean, that's good.
The site is inflamed and white blood cells flood the area. The immune system unmistakably identifies this as an injury. We can witness her stiff reluctance to move and read a jolt in brain activity when she's jostled. It must be greatly painful.
I mean, no duh, you literally have a branch inside of you.
The greatest danger right now is a tear of the intestines, which would certainly be fatal. There is reason to hope. Our scans also reveal that she has recovered from a similar injury in the past. Perhaps Brillos regularly endure such ghastly wounds. Perhaps it was the safety of the Brillo herd which afforded her enough time to convalesce. Certainly her odds of survival will be boosted greatly if she is able to make the long swim back. For now, she is still well enough to care for her newborn, though doing so must be exhausting.
Look at his little face.
Judging by several physical indicators, this is most likely her first calf. Those Brillos who manage their gardens well can be extremely long-lived. Females can give birth as many as 8 times. If the calf survives, one day he too might also cast his genes forward, his own minute fingerprint on the future's shape. Regardless of whatever metric of success we observers of an outside species might apply, his life will be led by the means it was forged in the crucible of natural selection. But for now, a rare moment of shelter.
I just can't get over how cute this little whale is. Oh, now we're finally at chapter 3, Departing.
This is a simplified map of the local ocean topography.
Alright.
The deep blue represents a fault line, the planetary scar where 2 tectonic plates meet. As with Earth, this land is a moving crust atop a globe of molten metal. The planet-shaping force of subduction pushed ground up above the sea. Creating what is now named the Chartreuse Archipelago.
Okay.
The island chain runs for about 870 kilometers, drawing a ragged line away from the continent. These names were given by an early survey team assessing the grounds for a harbor or research outpost. The body of water created between the Scrimshaw Islands is known as the Thalo Bay. The large inlet is exactly what a Brillo whale breeding ground requires.
Oh, we got another one of these. Let's go check that out.
Regarding Brillo carving, the most important feature
hope the music is a little bit too loud.
3 separate herds converged this year to give birth simultaneously. The dots estimate their prior positions. Not all Brillows make this trek every year, but many more whales assist besides parents. Pregnant whales move into the centre, where they maintain as much distance from one another as possible. Perhaps due to the unpredictable anatomy of their fellow Brillows, or a vulnerability in the skin of the newborns, calves are kept segregated from all others for the first months of their life. The remaining herd forms a blockade at the mouth of the bay, while the pregnant whales deliver. As weeks pass, hunger and distraction start to erode focus on this task. The amount of time that the herd can wait is finite. When the time comes, all leave together at once, moving with the safety of numbers. Their destination will be one of several coral reefs. Those unable to move on time must be abandoned.
Okay, that's pretty depressing, but sadly that's just how nature
The
works.
healthy cannot hazard everyone's odds of survival for the sake of a few infirm. Our mother, wounded as she is one of several this year who befell this fate.
Outside of that season, the whales live elsewhere. Usually they're found at coral reefs and areas more productive with food. Brillows require a very high-calorie diet. We now find our whales here, at the border to the Great Vathis Ocean.
And she's pretty close over there, so she's really about out of this area.
It is a bright day in early autumn. An unseasonable cold front chills the air.
Still do not like how she
We
looks,
find our
but
mother
there's something
bracing for the
about these
journey.
whales that just kind of disturb.
Judging by her mobility, her health has much improved. The delay is likely not related to her recovering wounds. The distance between the Tharlo Bay and the southern reef is inhabited by many large predators. Many Brillo calves are taken in these waters. Her loud songs are searching for another Brillo's response. She's been making these calls since before dawn. She does not want to make this journey alone.
I wouldn't blame her. The ocean is terrifying. I'm personally
The calf
terrified of the
returns
ocean.
with a fresh lungful of
Which is
oxygen.
probably why I'm terrified of these things, because that does not look normal. Well, I mean, it must be normal for them, just not for me. Oh, look at the little guy.
He quickly retreats back to the bramble under his mother. For once, he does not need to be told to stay close. Undoubtedly, he can also read the change in his mother's behavior. And the unfamiliar place ahead is deeper and colder. Faintly at first, a new sound reaches them. His mother startles. They both listen. It's another whale.
Alright, that's good.
A Brillo whale, and it is getting nearer. Our mother booms a reply back. The calf's curious nature starts to show itself again. He has yet to meet a Brillo besides his mother.
I mean, I can imagine this would be an exciting moment.
There, he spots something. A large body begins to emerge from the hazy distance. It continues to approach, but the calf still can't quite understand what he's looking at. The calf's curiosity morphs into discomfort the closer it gets.
Why is he scared? Don't tell me it's not actually a
Discomfort turns
Brillo.
into outright alarm. He pleads to his mother in distress. She rebukes him in reply as if to say, "Don't be rude to the new neighbors."
So it is a Brillo. Then why is he scared of it?
One cannot blame him for his confusion.
Okay, I'm not done with these whales. What is that? That is not a whale. That That is some kind of weird, freakish sea monster.
It is a beautiful and ghastly example of mimicry.
Sure, let's just call it beautiful. Ghastly? Maybe. Beautiful? Debatable.
The way the jaws gently undulate is startlingly believable.
Yeah, that looks pretty believable if I'm being completely honest. If I saw that in the ocean, I would probably just have a heart attack and die. That is not something I want to see in the ocean. A weaver
These
bug.
prodigious
Alright.
birds turn their colonies into terrifying scarecrows by spinning and sculpting ossa.
Oh, we got another word right here.
Osona is a long-chain polymer found in great abundance here. It is totally novel to our researchers.
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to fix the audio. Let me see if I can. Alright, I'm back. I fixed the audio. I didn't know if I could, but I figured that I should have. That's probably the first thing I should have done. Check the audio thing. So I apologize if it sounded loud and you could not hear what they were saying. But now it should be a lot better, so let's just get back to it.
When soft, it is similar in texture to a neoprene diving suit. Through a curing process, it can be hardened to various levels. In its stiffest state, it resembles the chitin shell of a beetle. A second documentary team is currently compiling all of the latest discoveries.
We got another one right here.
Building bugs.
There they are again, the Corporation for Earth Media.
This multi-part series will focus exclusively on the insect world, which sees far more divergent evolution from Earth species than vertebrates. The title refers both to insects that build habitats and the evolutionary forces which likely constructed such insects.
Alright, that was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Until then, we hope our simple introduction to this material suffices.
And now we're back here.
Water is channeled through the layered construction, swelling and emptying various pockets, creating animal-like locomotion. Our resident Weaverlobe expert insists that the beastly facade before us here should have taken many decades to complete. It also seems unlikely that it was built from scratch on
Wait,
the
is that
whale's
where
back.
its eyes are
Perhaps
right
if
down there?
Weaverlobes are able to relocate such structures,
Are you
an
telling me it's like
established colony was
backwards?
simply carried on to the Brillo's back.
That is weird.
Such a fearsome appearance does much to ward off predators. The reversed head may also help to confuse
I can
prey.
imagine it scares off a lot of predators.
We do not know why she was left behind, but this Brillo is a valuable addition to the ocean crossing.
Oh, it's
She
another
too is a mother,
baby.
looking to deliver her child to safety. It seems that all Brillo calves are quite shy around new acquaintances. Our calf growls to himself. Scoldings are unlikely to budge his unwelcoming attitude, nor will the surprise of additional friends. The calf was so distracted by what was in front of him that he failed to notice what was swimming up from behind.
Okay, don't tell me it's something bad. Better. Okay, it's another whale.
She's something like
At least I
faceless
think
stone
it's a
coat.
whale.
The exterior is more bizarre than menacing.
I swear, these things look nothing like whales.
It might serve as some kind of armor, but our crew is at a loss to describe it on first sight.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it either.
Like our Brillo mother, this whale may also have some kind of internal injury. She's only able to produce short, abrupt honks instead of complex songs.
Oh, another
She's also
baby.
a mother. Regardless of what benefit her exterior provides, her presence alone will help contribute to a safe crossing. Flanked by these strangers, our calf seems very disturbed. New experiences may be uncomfortable now, but they will lead him to understand the Brillo way.
And what is the Brillo way? Being absolutely terrifying, because
His
they
mother jolts
definitely
him
accomplished
forward with a
that.
shove of her branches. It is unlikely that more companions will show up, and there is no time left to delay. following her lead, the 6 whales head out into the ocean to find their lost herd. The pod is now 57 kilometers from the Great Southern Reef. This is the final leg of their journey, and their path crosses over a wide abyssal trench. The parent whales set the pace at a rigorous 6 kilometers an hour. They swim in a typical defensive formation, though with only 3 adults, it is not possible to fully encircle the youths. The trek has been arduous for our little calf, but he has endured it with admirable stoicism. Slowing down is not an option. He is able to sense this himself. Something large has been following the whales. It first appeared in the early afternoon and has maintained the same steady distance ever since.
I don't trust that.
Hours passed and the mysterious animal failed to approach or make any concerning moves.
Yeah, I don't trust that. It's definitely trying to hunt them.
The calf's fear of the unknown was slowly overtaken again by interest in his new Brillo
I've done a lot of research with animals, and there are plenty of predators that will personally hunt their prey for hours on end just to get one of them killed. And this is most likely what this thing is doing.
The whale and her calf now swim to his left flank. This calf was whining earlier, but seems to have calmed. The stony mother's outer surface has slowly morphed shape throughout the day, greatly reducing in size. It is as if the exterior nodules are deflating. What mechanism triggers this change or how they shrink, we do not know. Overall, she is slightly more streamlined in form than earlier. Perhaps she can intentionally contract her shell for extra mobility. Our calf doesn't know what to make of her either. Below him swim the mimic mother whale and her calf, along with one of our semi-autonomous light drones.
I mean, that's kind of cool. You have a little light thing. Let's figure out what this little light drone thing is.
This semi-autonomous drone has chosen to enter frame and spoil the shot. This seems an appropriate moment to talk about some of the machines used in South Scrimshaw's production. Almost all of our remote-operated vehicles, ROVs, are surplus from the Pacification War. When the self-appointed International Coalition declared Earth's intention to globally adopt the doctrine of resistance, they provoked the construction of a war drone fleet. An army of multi-purpose and single-purpose robots was fabricated in less than 5 days. Due to the brevity of the conflict, limited mostly between Earth factions, and the eventual unconditional capitulation offered, almost none of these war machines saw deployment. Today, all can agree that avoiding a protracted land invasion or an apocalyptic scenario such as kinetic bombardment was a necessity. Today, these robots represent progress and optimism instead of death and coercion. Their strike platforms decommissioned and AI reprogrammed, they are now tools of education and discovery.
So that
This
thing that's
declassified
following
schematic
them,
illustrates just
not
one of the
the
wonderful drones
weird
at
thing
Earth's
out in the
disposal.
distance. This little light thing is like it's like an actual drone. I thought it was some kind of sea creature. These whales are just chill with this thing following them? Alright. I'm guessing they've done this multiple times, so it's just kind of a normal thing for these whales. Alright. So, lot of parts to it.
We thank the Kronos 7 leadership for their continued logistical support of our project.
Swimming upside down is the most uncomfortable spot for a Brillo, and the mimic mother refused to take her turn until minutes ago. Her stubbornness may not be entirely unreasonable. While upside down, her disguise as a wide-jawed monster appears to fall apart. The illusion of a toothy beast is currently broken.
I mean, let's be honest, with that thing around, you probably wouldn't want to look as scary as possible to keep that thing away.
This always seems to quell his unease. He is safe within her nest of thorns. He must focus on swimming. But it's hard to ignore that ominous thing in the distance.
Yeah, I'd be terrified of that thing over there. I mean, look at that.
This is a penumbra shark. It is the fastest marine animal on the planet.
Oh, it's a shark. That's even worse.
For the penumbra,
Now we
6 kilometers
definitely
an hour
know it's
is
a
leisurely
predator.
pace. It could comfortably stalk the whales days on end. An apex hunter, patient with experience, it will preserve all possible energy for an opportune strike. Very much like a sailfish, penumbra sharks have a large dorsal fin along their back. This is kept retracted until the moment of attack. With several flicks
Okay,
of the tail,
where did
it
it go?
vanishes from sight.
I don't like how it
Panic
disappeared.
overtakes the whales, and the defensive formation immediately breaks apart.
Don't break apart. You have a defensive formation. Keep the
Our
defensive
calf
formation.
looks down. The mimic mother has abandoned her post.
Well, why did she leave? Okay, I get it. It's a shark, but keep your post.
Nothing stands between our calf and the open abyss below.
That is horrifying. Oh. Don't tell me the baby's gonna die.
The fight or flight reaction is as intense as it is instantaneous. A full threat alarm floods from the hypothalamus, shooting through every nerve and chemical pathway. Adrenaline pumps into the blood. The perception of time dilates. Details of the world suddenly stand out with vivid intensity, even in this low light. 2 rows of white teeth are searingly clear.
That is horrifying.
The calf finds his own fins now move in slow motion too.
Please tell me this
Seawater
whale's not
suddenly
gonna
feels
die.
solid, suspending him in place.
They're
Trapped in
so
harm's
cute.
way,
Don't
he
let him
watches the
die.
events unfold, until a tremble runs through the thorns surrounding him. The mother's branches are
Yeah,
held
Mama,
on
do
tension
something. Do
and
something.
can be released with the force of a catapult. She flexes, cords snap, and in an instant the calf is swaddled in protective barbs and makeshift spears. The shark senses the change and shifts the attack direction to the
Okay.
stone mother's calf,
No, not the baby!
who is exposed and
Not the
helpless.
other baby!
Our calf momentarily loses consciousness,
No!
but the barbed vines around him act as a net. His mother whisks him away with her. As our calf comes to again, he finds an awful scent filling the water.
Oh no, the other
Looks back
baby's
to see
dead,
what
isn't
happened to
it?
his travel companion.
Oh
The sight
no.
horrifies. It is the reality of predation from the perspective of the prey. Because of his mother, our calf is the survivor, and not the cautionary example for others to learn from. Less than 20 kilometers remain until the reef and the safety of their Brillo herd.
Where the heck did you go?
The mimic mother races ahead, leaving the weaker whales to their fate.
Okay, you're kind of a jerk. Like, no one would have died if you just kept your post.
Her movements are confused. She is still in a state of shock over the death of her child.
Oh, I feel so bad for her.
Our calf struggles to follow. It is much harder to swim outside of a larger whale's slipstream. And his mother is falling far behind again. He races back to be by her side.
Okay, why is she stopping?
The calf has been running ahead of her sight and then returning. The back and forth seem to coax his mother a little further each time. But now her strength has failed. She cannot even lift her fins in response.
She hurt?
Her old wounds were opened by the physical exertion to save her child's life.
Oh
She will
no.
not recover. He whistles the familiar call to play. There is no more response.
Come on, keep going.
She has finally slipped from consciousness.
Oh no,
She
no,
cannot
no, no,
remain
no,
with her
no,
calf any longer.
no. Don't let
He
the mother
continues to
die.
press for a reaction. desperation compounds the grief. At this age, calves are completely dependent on a mother's milk and protection. With nowhere to go, the calf remains at her side. The research team witnesses the mother's final pulses of electrical activity fade and extinguish.
Yeah, that definitely means she's dead. Oh, that sucks. I mean, the baby survived, but at
There is
what
an armed
cost?
force. Two researchers start a heated discussion on the ethics of intervention.
I
But
wouldn't help
before
but
any consensus
intervene.
is reached, the argument is interrupted by a low rumble over the hydrophone. The stone mother never left the area. She watches our calf from a distance. A new day begins to dawn over the coral reef. Brillo whales start to stir from slumber. Together, the stone mother and our calf have arrived safely.
Oh, she
Though
adopted a
physically
little
and
guy.
emotionally depleted, neither has found any sleep. The calf gorges on milk, famished from the previous day's ordeal.
No joke, this guy just lost his, well, his
This
actual
adoption
mother.
in the wild may be extraordinary to witness happen, but acts of apparent generosity have not been an uncommon sight to anyone following this intensely social species. The stone mother's exterior appears to now be fully deflated. We can see a more familiar shape underneath.
Yeah, she did look more like a whale in a few
It's the
shots.
outline of a young female whale, quite small in size for an adult specimen. She has saved our calf from certain death. Perhaps our calf is helping her continue on too.
Yeah, that's kind of sweet in a way.
The young whale finally slumbers.
Still kind of sad.
It is good that he takes the moment to recover while he can. He will need the rest. In the morning, he will awaken to an overwhelming new world.
Okay, so we're on to the next chapter, but I'm gonna stop right here because my phone's about to die, so it will, if I try recording anymore, it would cut midway. As well as the fact that I want to be able to get this video out as soon as possible, and if I were to do that, I would need to do a lot of editing, and that will take a good few hours to do, and there's a lot planned for next week. So I would not have very much time to edit. So if I want to be able to get this out as soon as possible, I will have to start editing as soon as possible as well. So I'm just going to stop it right here, and I will record the part 2 in another video. Until then, peace out, peeps.